the case of Mr. Pexa as a suspect unexamined. What's the strategy there, Judge?
The strategy is to show that the law enforcement agencies, detectives, and everyone that's involved didn't do a complete job. And whether or not they had information that would lead them to suspect someone else, they just didn't go down that road completely because they pointed the finger at the poor defendant who's sitting over there. And in fact, he's going to testify, or maybe he already did. And they didn't even give him a chance. So the strategy is just to create the doubt as to whether or not everything is lined up perfectly, or is there a window, a small inch where you can say, you know what, maybe he did not do it and it could have been someone else.
Philip Dube, I mean, is this a good, successful strategy by the defense here to bring in this idea that maybe it was someone else, maybe it was this neighbor, Mr. Pexa?
Well, they're floating these disjointed kernels of doubt is what it is. The problem is that, again, this retired cop, first of all, would not leave a free-floating body on corn stalks in his neighborhood. He would probably bury the body. He's an experienced retired cop. But also, he wasn't one of the masked men that Christian Bahena Rivera testified about. It's plain and simple. It would be so easy to rule him out just based on Christian's own statement. But for whatever reason, this jury sounds like they're getting hung up on all these free floating kernels of doubt that were kind of thrown up in the air.
I mean, Judge, do you think, though, that, I mean, if the jury is going to not convict here, that Bahena Rivera would have had to draw the connection between the masked men and body in the trunk and Mr. Pexa?
You know what? Unfortunately not. Just like Philip said, what a good defense attorney does is throws up all the kernels of doubt, just hoping that a few or even one would fall on somebody. So it's not about making connections that make sense. It's about throwing as many darts at the wall to say, hey, maybe he didn't do it because of this. Maybe he didn't do it because of that. And hopefully one of those will stick. That's all it takes.
All right. Well, let's hear from the defendant himself on this. He took the stand and he explains what he really thinks happened to Molly Tibbetts' body. Take a look.
So you get the